Have you heard of the Lady of the Lake? This is a local legend from Southwest County, Long Island in New York. So if you're from around there, you are pretty much familiar with the story, or the different versions of it. Before I continue on, I want to clarify ahead of time that locals have continuously called the Lady of the Lake this term. I refuse to call her that because not only is it just not an accurate title to describe anyone in governance within indigenous Long Island tribes and nations, it also plays into harmful stereotypes about indigenous women. Now let's begin. In the 1600s, there was a Silakat or Sitikit woman named Tuscawanta, who fell in love with a white settler from across the lake. His name is Hugh Bursell, and while he felt the same way, her father forbid her from seeing him. So for the next 7 years, in order to communicate with him, she tried to write love letters on bark and tried sending them to Bursell across the lake. You could probably guess where this is going. He never responded, and due to the lack of a response, one day, Tuscawanta went rowing in the middle of the lake and in despair stabbed her own heart and died. Ever since then, she became the Lady of the Lake and has made it her goal to grab any man that walks into the lake to replace her lost love. Here's the frightening part. Drowning statistics from this particular lake actually backs up the legend. There were at least 160 drownings at the lake between the mid to late 1800s and late 1970s, averaging well over one a year, and only 3 victims were women, and that's according to former longtime Lake Ronkonkoma lifeguard and American colonial history expert David Ingery. During his tenure of guarding the lake's beaches starting in the 1960s, there were 30 drownings alone, and all the victims were men. Then he himself had a terrifying premonition about drowning while guarding. He witnessed instances where women survived situations where others would have died. He listened to his own buddies' tales of their encounters with the spirit, and he lived to tell his own brush with death in the lake. He said when he was swimming towards a local bar and grill at the edge of the lake, known as the Lighthouse, when he got close, he found himself swimming in place. And he said, and then I got picked up and got thrown back. The legend does say that the woman lives in the deep hole near the lighthouse. That's where I was. Today, according to the Suffolk County Police Department, the last person to drown in the lake was a woman in 2017. The department said it's only started breaking down drowning statistics specifically for Lake Ronkonkoma starting in 2001, and since then there was also a man who died in 2012 and another man in 2014. The lake is now off limits to swimmers because of the algae bloom, according to signs in the visitors parking lot at the lake.